What we've been doing here is excavating a medical store in the woods. This is part of the overall hospital complex, and this actually seems to have been a tent, and we've got a circular kind of an arrangement to the soil. It shows dark areas over up to there where there's been burning, and then beyond it we get out of the burning area, and it seems to be roughly circular, and we know that they're using circular huts at this stage. So this is a store tent, and inside it some of the stores seem to have been undisturbed. We have here a packing case that was full of tubes of salve, probably frostbite protection, which burnt in place. They're still actually in the positions that they would have been inside the box. And we've got another patch here, which is from a different box, where they're actually facing upwards and pointing towards the sky. The finds that we've had within this area is a mixture of these tubes of salve, and we've got at least 3 different sizes of them. We're not sure whether that means that we've got different types of salve. It might be that we've got things like anti-insect cream alongside frost salve, but we just don't know. So we have that, but we also have lots and lots of glass like that, lots of which seem to be bottles of ether, which fits in very well with the hospital, and then lots and lots of small metal tins like that, which presumably are for some kind of waxy material, again for smearing on your face and so on. All of this seems to have been heaped up inside the tent, on top of the floor that's inside the tent. And looking in the section here, that black line seems to be the remains of the flooring, and we've got various other areas where you can still see this deposit of burnt wood on the floor. We have 1 or 2 other things like this feature here, which is the top of a box or something like that. All of this stuff is inside the tent, and when the Germans were retreating, clearly what they did was they poured petrol onto the material. We get over at the back, we get a very strong smell of petrol, and then they seem to have used a flare to set light to it. We found the tube of the flare still intact, and then it burnt, and it burnt with a tremendous heat, to the point that you can't actually read the labels on most of the tubes anymore, and a lot of the glass bottles actually melted. And in order for them to melt, the temperature must have gone to 1350 degrees centigrade, which is tremendously hot. One of the reasons we think that it burnt so hot is because a lot of these bottles contain ether, which would have increased the flammability. So it burnt down, and it tells us something about the way that the Germans pulled out. But what the contents also tell us is about how they managed to live within the environment. The ether obviously is for dealing with operations and things like that. But these frostbite salves really give us a feel for the fact that they were actually prepared for the winters that they were going to be facing. And they clearly brought huge amounts of it because they knew that they were going to be needing it. So we can actually see this element of the German army living in a way that actually took account of the circumstances they were going to be in. And this is where archaeology actually scores over history, because it allows us to see how people react in situations in a way that's never recorded in histories. It's never actually written down. This is the kind of the hard evidence that tells us these sort of things, that gives us an insight into what it was actually like living in these kind of conditions, what it was like for the ordinary soldier who was faced with living in the woods of Lapland through the summer and into the winter in environments which they had never previously encountered.